Time to take an in-depth look at the Masque, the tiny dancer of Slaanesh. Going to be having a grand old time here in one of Slaanesh's trickier matchups up against the Ogre Kingdoms. Already she's prancing and dancing and dashing across the field at an incredibly fast pace for an infantry lord. She actually does count as infantry size, so there you go. Devastating flanker, of course. And what she brings to the table is her 3 dances. So Dakala also has dances, but the Masque, her dances are going to be more area of effect, whereas Dakala's only affect herself. The Masque here has these 3, which we may have looked at before, but the Dance of Dreaming is going to be the one that we'll see the most use. Basically turns her into a Mortis engine with an extra leadership effect as well, so constant AoE damage is always going to be great. You also have this one, which is missile resistance for friendlies and speed, and enemy debuff speed and vigor. It's okay. And this one as well, maybe if you're in a big single entity fight, this might be slightly more efficient than using the Dance of Dreaming, but mostly you're going to be seeing the Dance of Dreaming. And then, of course, Staff of Masques steals health and vigor from an opponent. Very cool. And to back her up, we've got Chaos Sorcerer of Slaanesh up on the Demonic Steed for extra combat power, and Steercar as well. I'm actually a huge fan of Steercar just because he's so cheap. And the Sign of Depravity, a few of you pointed out that it does charge up very quickly in terms of the intensity. Even though I'm not the biggest fan generally of these conditional things, I do get that, and we're going to put it to use here potentially. I do have some Marauder Horsemen of Slaanesh as well, and some Devoted Marauders. Spears, of course, are up against the Ogres. Some regular Devoted Marauders as well. And, yeah, then a few Hellstriders here in the back. Where did they go? Oh, they're there in the woods. Anyway, against my opponent here, HDS coming in thick with Greases. Love to see it. A couple of Yetis as well, including the Amble Peaks. Not a bad thought, honestly, getting that magic damage from the Yetis. Is, in theory, going to be good against physical resistance of Slaanesh. The Skystriders also have magic damage and Frostbite with their massive anti-large bonus and 120 armor. They traditionally are a unit that can give Slaanesh problems, right? Your high armor, high damage units, large units in particular, because Slaanesh doesn't have the best anti-large tools, that has historically been an issue for them. And one of the reasons why this matchup is maybe Ogre's favored, even still, I'm not sure. We'll have to see. He's got some Pigback Riders as well, some Noblars, a couple of Slingers. But, yeah, no Thunder Tusk, which definitely would have been a problem for me, although we'll see. Maybe I have the tools to actually kill it, but even still, I'm looking over here at the Skystriders thinking, like, okay, how are we going to take care of these guys? Because they and the Yetis are pretty potent and scary, so well, first things first, let's run into combat and just eat 1,000 daggers to the face on Steercar. Yes, absolutely intended. Little Lash of Slaanesh to give it a map-wide melee attack buff as we get into combat here, and yeah, Devoted Marauders charging over there are going to do pretty well into the Pigback Riders with the assistance of the Masque. And now the Yetis are moving over here as well, so we're going to throw a little Acquiescence on them, debuff their melee defense, and speed as well, make sure they stay locked into combat. Bring in the Chaos Sorcerer to give a little bit of a single entity punch, and then let's just fight here on top of these Devoted Marauders. The Masque, the Chaos Sorcerer should be enough to get some pretty consistent damage in. We see Flock of Doom here in the center. Greases paying his gold to rampage everything in an area of effect, including Steercar, who is trying to pull away to go help out that flank engagement. But Marauder Horsemen wheeling up and around the flank. Speaking of that, yeah, trying to get in behind here, potentially take out some units. Yeah, more issues. These Devoted Marauders have been trying their best, but they are definitely overmatched under the sheer weight of Ogre Girth right now. So all of a sudden things are looking a little bit sketchy. Masque and Chaos Sorcerer here fully surrounded. Amble Peaks getting a nice Troll Guts to keep them healed up, but that Staff of Masques, of course, going to be continuing to, or no, we actually use the Staff of Masques, yeah, on the Skystriders, just deal some direct damage and keep the Masque healed as much as possible. The Masque not counting as large, actually, is huge in this circumstance, but I'm like, hey, you know what? I've got all these Marauder Horsemen with Devastating Flanker. Why don't we just pop another Acquiescence and charge with Devastating Flanker and with the melee defense of 0? Hopefully we can get enough damage to finish off these Skystriders before they start murdering all my Marauder Horsemen. The Yetis also come in. Steercar finally makes it to this engagement after having get beat to crap by Greases, but his presence is noted. I use the Narcissism to freeze and silence Greasus over there so he can't come support this engagement. And just like that, we managed to mostly win. Sky Striders get routed there. That extra leadership effect coming in very handy. Likewise, the Amble Peak Greybacks also get routed, so we're going to use the Marauder Horsemen of Slaanesh, chase the Sky Striders off. And now we'll go 3v1 on Greasus. Yes, yes. Sweet little tiny dancer just becoming one with that ogre in particular, that Sky Strider model. And then the two snakes slapping Greasus. Tactical reserve of Hell Striders going to be brought in at this point to chase some routing units and provide a little bit of extra, damage and so forth. Greasus, though, just getting absolutely beat down. Troll Guts will try and save him from the lore of Great Maw Butcher here, but it's not going to be enough. He gets succinctly destroyed. And the Sky Striders do manage to come back from rout, but how much more can they do? I guess it depends on how much Winds of Magic he has left, but I do have enough Hell Striders that we're going to just go for a numbers game here and order them all to charge in on the Sky Striders. And just hope that through sheer volume, yeah, they're going to break, and that'll actually be the end of the game. Relatively quick one. I mean, we both took pretty rush-oriented builds, so it's kind of to be expected. But I have to say, the single entities kind of Doom Squad here ended up being a lot better than I anticipated. Like, I'll be honest, when I loaded into the game, I was like, oh, I might be in big trouble here from HDS's build, but actually, we were able to kind of work things out in our favor. The Marauder Horsemen, how much they actually contributed is hard to say, but at least throwing in some extra bodies and maybe a little bit of extra damage on those important high-value targets. Like the fact that the Sky Striders broke and still had a lot of their unit models alive is pretty nice for me. Then the Yetis also, I mean, some of them got, the Amble Peaks at least got some value, didn't quite pay for themselves, but yeah, these elites for HDS I was able to limit fairly well, and yeah, the Masque, especially with proper support like this character squad, it's relatively expensive, but it feels pretty impactful, honestly. Like the Acquiescence debuff, especially when you're able to rush with these very fast characters and get some quick damage in. Like, it seems like the steed-mounted characters have probably fast attack animations as well. The Masque also has fast attack animations, and that AoE drain means you're really putting your opponent on a timer. So, yeah, I actually quite like this. Seems decent. Again, HDS build not meta by any means, has some thoughtful components to it for sure, but yeah, I'd be curious to take this against some more Ogre players, or just in general once this build goes live, if this matchup changes a lot, to be honest. It's hard to say for me sometimes, because I get this relatively small sample size of me playing like the same few people, so I would say generally I'm pretty well matched with most of the content creators I've been playing games with, just in terms of like skill level. I think we're pretty even, to be honest, for the most part. So yeah, it's interesting to see kind of in this Wild West where a lot of the time we're experimenting and trying different things on builds as well. So it's hard to really take away like firm, recommendations, I guess, or we certainly learn things, but yeah, as to how it will affect the overall meta, it's hard to say. Certainly, this is a matchup that Slaanesh could struggle in before, but I do think some of the additions certainly will help them here, for sure, and especially in the character department. Like that mount option, the Demonic Steed is just so nice. Steercar is very potent for how much I took him here. Actually having the speed debuffs, too, I think help kind of get extra damage in. Once these units are routing, then my units can get a lot more damage as they're routing, right? The Masque also. Let's go ahead and actually just take a look here at the costs of everything. So the Masque, only 1,800 fully kitted out, and granted, you can't deselect the dances anymore. You could in the last patch. We've actually had a small update that has done some balance changes before we go live, which is not typical. It's nice to see Creative Assembly being responsive in that way. But yeah, you can't deselect the dances anymore, but 1,500 base costs, honestly not bad. The Staff Masks giving you self-heal, a little bit of extra damage, 2 times is also nice, so 1,700 there, considering he got, she rather got almost 3,000 damage value. Yeah, I mean, that's very impressive, very, very good value, and granted, Mortis Engines are almost always good value if they're able to survive, but then, yeah, Steercar as well. You come in, pretty much cut everything. The Chaos Armor is also one that a bunch of you guys have commented about, and to be honest, it's, yeah, I mean, damage reflection is nice. Because his unit model is so small and so fast, ideally he's not taking that many hits, and at least the damage reflection portion of this, I don't think you're actually going to get that much value from. The missile block chance actually would be quite nice, put him up to 75% missile block chance, so it's one if you have the gold that maybe you would want to, choose to buy that, but at the very least, him with maybe even just Sign of Depravity, especially against lower leadership factions like the Ogres, where you can be routing a lot of Noblars, definitely get some good value out of this as well, and that was maybe another component in, some of those engagements going so surprisingly in my favor. But then, yeah, the steed as well, man, 100 speed, just great mass, huge fan. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.